welcome, dear listeners, to our episode of Elai EdTalks, the podcast where we explore the latest trends and innovations in L&D. I'm your host, Inna, a learning strategist at Elai, and I'm more than happy to introduce two guests who are joining our conversations today. This is Anastasiia Naumenko, Head of Education at SendPulse, and Ren Narciso, Sales Enablement Content Specialist at Turnitin. Welcome, Nasta and Ren. It's really great to see you today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me and Ren too. I'm really happy to be here today.
Yeah,
So,
same.
Today we've gathered for a very special episode of EdTalks called Spotlight, where we explore stories of those who have upped their games with AI-generated videos featuring avatars. So Anastasiia will discuss customer education and how they used Elai Avatars to enhance NPS and scale their academy courses in multiple languages within the shortest time. Ren will describe her approach to product training and compare it with conventional methods. We will also discuss how they utilize interactivity features and incorporate branching scenarios to personalize content. So since this is a spotlight episode, I'm officially declaring that this was the last time I talked so much. And I'd love to start by hearing your story. So could you tell us a bit about yourselves?
Okay, let me start. So, hi, I'm Ren. So, I'm a content specialist with Turnitin. I've been an instructional designer for quite some time and have been in L&D for more than 10 years. And I've worked from different sectors, government, corporate, academia, everything. So, I find it very excited to be part of this L&D community and to be able to talk here with you and share the space.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Nasta. It's the short form of Anastasiia. It's easier to pronounce. So, my name is Nasta. I'm head of education at SendPulse. SendPulse is a SaaS service. It's a no-code solution for marketing and sales automation. With over 2 million users worldwide, we help with our ecosystem. We help businesses to build their marketing and sales process automated themselves. And education for sure is a big part of our sales and marketing process ourselves. So I'm very happy to help our potential and existing customers to elevate their experience using our tools and to scale their businesses with it.
Yeah, thanks to both of you, Ren and Nastya. You've really got quite special cases that I'm excited to talk about. But in our EdTalks series, we start every time from rapid fire questions. So this is the same set of questions that we summarize by the end of this season. So first things first, what book or a resource can you recommend on L&D and educational topics?
Okay. I would recommend the book Map It by Kathy Moore. So it's about action mapping. It's very practical. It's practically my Bible. It helps me design and prioritize training interventions.
Yeah, that's a really nice one, and no one has mentioned it yet in our episode, so that's nice. Nastya, what's your recommendation?
My recent favorite book that I read on, it's not necessarily on L&D processes, but it's about building a community. It's called Get Together by Bill Richardson, Kevin Harn, and Kai Emersoto. I hope I haven't butchered all of those names, because community is a big part of any process. So building trust, building the sense of belonging to something, I think is a big part of learning process, and I really recommend you read the book.
Yeah. Who do you recommend to follow and invite to this podcast from L&D or educational experts?
Okay, there's a lot. But lately I've been enjoying being part of his community. That would be Tim Slade. He's an author, he's an e-learning designer, and he has this great L&D community where people gather, and usually we have transitioning teachers who are into L&D. So it is a lovely community, and I'm sure your listeners would love to hear from Tim Slade here as well.
Yeah, funny you should say so, but when I've transitioned from teaching actually to L&D, those were the videos that I started with. So because he has one YouTube channel.
Yeah, he has a good YouTube channel.
Yeah. Okay.
I would have recommendation that is tailored to Ukraine. There is a big corporation called Genesis, and I will be happy to introduce you, and I'm happy to know Alexei Nishik, who is Education Operation Director at Genesis. It's a big company that helped not only educate, but change probably IT market and IT industry in Ukraine through learning process, through courses. And I think it will be really nice to hear about their experience, their challenges, and how they did that.
Yeah, well, thank you for the brilliant recommendation. So next one is actually my favorite. Can you share a memorable failure or a setback in your L&D journey, and how did you overcome it?
Okay. Sorry, I couldn't think of exactly one. All projects have their own challenges, and some of them even get shelved midway through. So for me, what is important is to never fall in love with your projects. Don't get too attached. So it's easier for you to let go when things are not going your way, the way you envisioned it. And so you could start over quickly. So that's, I would say, how I overcome whatever these challenges are.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I have one. I was actually, it's a funny question because every time you get asked such a question, you're like, I cannot remember anything. It was my case also. It wasn't a kind of setback, but it's a situation that helped me to learn something. It was when I was doing too much webinars and everything failed us, from the internet to cell phone data to everything. And I believe everyone had that. And my speaker, my expert, was absent for about 10 minutes, and I needed to fill out this space. And that helped me to learn two things, actually. First one is prepare for anything. Basically, you cannot be too prepared. Learn your topics, learn your questions, get a bunch of double plans. Always be prepared. That's the first thing. And the second thing, you cannot be scared, and you cannot be not ready for something. To be honest, the most horrible thing that can happen, it might happen. And if it happens to you, you can accept the challenge anyway. So trust in yourself and always be prepared. Those are my lessons.
I think that anyone who facilitated many sessions has had the situation just like that. So did I, actually. But actually, these are the best. At that moment, you might not think so, but these are the best. So what question must be asked on a job interview for L&D specialists?
In my case, it's always about their design process, how they approach a problem given to them. So if there's like a talents or skill test, so what is their thought process like? What are the decisions that they made, and why they went a certain way instead of the other? I'm not really particular on like proving to me that you can code or that you can use this tool. I'm interested in how you are approaching the problem or the design problem.
It's a really great one, because I do remember there used to be a couple of years ago job vacancies where they mentioned like articulate developer instead of instructional designer. And once you narrowed down your whole profession to just one tool, well, in a couple of years there might be a dangerous situation where your skills are just outdated. So that's a good one.
Yes.
Nastya, what's your opinion on that?
I could not agree more with that question, because I had it in my mind also. It's more about overcoming challenges that you had during your career or during your professional life. And the answer that I'm seeking is not how spectacular overcoming was. It's just how you accepted these challenges and how fast you could adapt to it and adapt your working process to that. So 100% agree.
Yeah. Great. And last but not the least, if you had to give just one piece of advice to a starter in L&D, what would that be?
Okay. To anyone who's starting out, I always say this: start by volunteering. It's a great way to grow your skill and your confidence. So that's how I started in instructional design. I grabbed any opportunity to learn and expand my portfolio, because in this role, we do not care as much as for degrees. What we are caring about is your experience and your portfolio. So volunteering is the quickest and I would say the most rewarding way to do this. You learn a ton, you not just design and development, but more importantly, you learn how to work with clients, with SMEs and learners. So, and it's good for you and it's good for them.
Brilliant. Thanks.
I would add, never stop learning yourself.
Mhm.
And never underestimate taking another course for just learning what is happening right now. You always can take out something, and this is the experience that actually Ren already mentioned that helps you grow yourself. So never stop learning and never stop practicing.
That's a brilliant inspirational advice from both of you. Thank you. And let's come to the main agenda of our today's episode, which is AI generated videos, of course. So we've connected through Elai because, well, both of your companies are customers of it, and I'm dying to know what do you think is the most beneficial, what are the perspectives of the technology. So I'd love to start from Ren and your case, and just in a nutshell, how would you describe the educational programs that you use Elai and AI video generated content for them?
Yeah, sure. So currently, we use Elai in building lesson units, not the whole course, but lesson units or segments for product and product training and process training. So training for Salesforce and other things. So these learning units are embedded within HighSpot, which is an enablement platform. So we do not have a separate LMS for our salespeople. So we use HighSpot for that, and they have lesson units there, and we embed Elai within that. It makes things more interesting, more interactive, because the platform that we have is very basic, like just text and plug in the video, but we are able to create more interactive videos, and I would say even quirky ones using Elai, and that's why we are enjoying using the tool within our platforms.
Yeah, you mentioned, so that makes it more interesting, and that's ideally what you would want to achieve, right? That your learner thinks the same, that, hey, this actually is more interesting than the previous one. So comparing to conventional methods that like a couple of years ago, we wouldn't probably think that there would be an opportunity to create interactive videos with AI avatars within minutes, right? So
yeah,
from the learner's perspective, compared to conventional methods, how do AI generated videos in terms of effectiveness and engagement differ?
yeah. Well, it's really a mixed bag of I would say reception.
Yeah.
Some like it. Many liked it actually. Some don't. A few people don't. We think it's probably because of there's too much too soon, too much AI too soon. I mean, it's only been introduced 2 years ago, and then suddenly it's right on their faces doing the training for them. It can get overwhelming. But in general, the reception is really good. We've got good feedback. They are enjoying the courses, and some find it funny and like disconcerting, but otherwise they don't mind it. And to them, and for us, it's really good for us because we are able to step up our production. We are able to make consistent videos, and we don't have to record like in a big studio. It's just one screen, and if there's like a script needs to be edited, a video has to be taken down for updating. It's just like so quickly done, unlike before that you have to go through the whole process of video recording and such. So
yeah. Absolutely. I think it is important to mention that just like micro learning isn't for 100% of training.
yeah,
just like gamification is not at place for every single topic. So thing is that I think it's quite clear that technology is still not on the level that you wouldn't tell the difference. I think we did questionnaires and it's like 30%, 70% couldn't tell the difference, but still there is this 30, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's important to realize that the technology is still not perfect. You still need to give it a little bit of time. But on the other hand, this is something just like you mentioned, and we are able to up our production. And this is what in the companies truly, you know, you really need to work on that. So that's a great perspective. And speaking of interactivity, you've shared with me a wonderful example of how do you, because sales enablement, well, it's a bit hard sometimes to create super engaging courses that, you know, that everyone likes. So how do you approach this topic and how do you make it more engaging, perhaps with the interactivity feature?
So first, usually, okay, we should, of course, everything starts with learning objectives. So we write the goals, and then we try to identify what are the activities that would hit those goals. And from there, we try to choose like the tools that we are going to use for that. And usually, most of the time, I would end up using branching scenarios, which is very tricky to do before. But with Eli, it's like, you know, one page there, and everything is quicker. So for product training, that's what we usually not just for product training, but for sales enablement, because with sales enablement, it's a bit tricky. It's not really so much as you are sharing knowledge. What we wanted them to do is develop this decision-making ability. So branching scenario is like the perfect tool for allowing them to make decisions, allowing them to make mistakes that will not affect their actual sales or performance. So that's how we have been using the tools lately.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the example. It makes it such a big difference because a couple of minutes ago I mentioned that it's hard to make sales enablement engaging because, well, you know, you're in a safe zone and usually what would you do? You maximum could give a test, but then this test could tell you that, hey, this is wrong or hey, this is right. But the ability and the thought of creating personalized learning experience where it's not just a test, but you see that your decision influences and you see the reaction. And just in general, this kind of approach, I think, truly ups the game. And yeah, and what about the feedback? I'm curious if you had any regarding this. Like, was there a way to measure the effectiveness of this kind of approach?
Okay, at first, of course, we're first following like the typical metrics, like how much are they spending time, how much is the engagement, but what we are really gunning for is the the amount of um the amount of query that they are questions that they are asking related to the topic. So if there's less question, it means the training is working. And it's and then we are receiving good feedback via email, and also when we did the pilot testing, and everything is really, I mean, of course there are some people who would say, oh, you need to improve on this or on that, but I would say overwhelmingly in general they enjoyed, not just enjoyed, but they feel like they have learned because they get to make mistakes, they get to practice, and we're really looking forward to like capitalizing on whatever features that Eli has, so to make things more interactive and more engaging for our learners.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm super happy to hear this, but also what came just to my mind, we had a conversation once with you and you mentioned it turns out that our experiences were a little bit common. A couple of years ago, I used to work with this product training where there would be an expert who is doing a voiceover, and the voiceover would be like 50 minutes for just a very simple procedure. And you would sit there and think, wow, I will spend hours on trying to edit this, trying to maybe record your self voice. And
Yes.
yeah, what has changed now?
Well, right now we just work with the script.
Yeah.
So the tricky part here is that usually, because I think we're spoiling our SMEs right now because they know we have the tool, they'll just, instead of before they will write everything and do the recording themselves, their recording was like a bit messy because they said, oh, Ren, you could you could turn this into something else. You could just use your AI voices to do not use my voice. I'll just say whatever, and then you clean it up, and I feel like it's more work for me, but I can download the script and then plug it in Eli, and then everything is there, and then I will show them the draft video, and then, oh, you made a mistake here, or you should be saying this, you should replace it with this one. And it's just like, just type it in and it's done. And then it's really, the turnaround is quicker.
Yeah.
And yeah, but we are more conscious right now of making sure that the videos are shorter. We have to take into account that the people are getting busier and getting spoiled by TikTok, by Reels, very short video format. So we have to keep in mind that in L&D we have to match, not I'm not saying that we have to shorten videos all the time, but as much as possible, make it like micro, so that everything is digestible, everything is easy to search, especially for them, because most of them they don't have time to sit through I would say 9 minutes or 10 minutes of video. So what we wanted to have is everything is tagged, everything is micro. If they need something while doing the job, they can just search for it and it comes up right then and there. There's no not many introduction, not too many, flowery words or anything. Just straight to the point.
Yes. Well, I feel that it's a whole other discussion, in terms of
Yes, it is.
fun and the learner nowadays. However, yeah, but it's one of my favorite ones actually. So maybe after we finish the recording, let's just chat a little bit. Anyway, is there anything surprising that you might share that you have found beneficial with Eli, or anything that you would like to mention more before we go to Nastia's case?
Actually, I think I've said everything. It's really the branching scenarios paired with AI video avatars. That's like the magic thing for us, because we can do snippets of video, branching scenarios for as a feedback. So it's really interesting. And yeah, I'm looking forward to more I guess the SCORM thing from Eli, and see how everything integrates.
Yes. Well, all I can say is that I promise you some surprises in the future, but no spoilers yet. So, thank you so much for sharing, Ren. We are still, on the line with you, and because in the end of this episode, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the question, But coming back to Nastia, could you please tell us about your experience with educational programs, with trainings that you have created through Eli?
Sure. So we basically started using Eli 2 years ago now, from what I believe. We basically do customer learning trainings for our customers to train them to use our own tool. With Eli, for sure, it helped us, it improved that we take to produce one course, just as Ren mentioned. Right now, it's super fast. And sometimes it's so fast that we get a little bit spoiled, that when we need to redo something, we're like, oh my God, it's taking so much time. But in fact, it's like 10 times more, 10 times cheaper, I believe, 10 times faster, because we don't need to reshoot, we don't need to find studio, we don't need to do this, that, and that. So, and to edit everything, editing is the worst part actually. So with avatars, our course training creation experience, it improved increasingly better, for sure. So we do courses basically on how to use certain tools of SendPulse ecosystem. Right now, we introduced course on WhatsApp chatbots, course on email marketing. We did both of those in English, in Ukrainian, in Portuguese, and in Spanish. And we created actually 1 week ago, last Monday, we published our course on website creation in Ukrainian. That was also done with Eli. And our experience was so far amazing. And also right now we are working on the course in French that I don't speak any of it. And with the help of external freelancer, I hope we will be soon done with it. And I will be also happy to share the results with you.
Brilliant.
So yeah, so basically avatars help us to create courses faster, cheaper, and made them multi-language, which we never had the ability to do, because we are usually tied on people who can speak multiple languages without any any like mistakes. So it improved our learning experience.
That's really great to hear. And so if I'm not mistaken, 5 languages, right? You support as an academy?
Yes. 5 languages, that's right.
So how does it work for anyone there who, just like me, was working with translators and was going through the hell of the process to just hire someone, then onboard them, then, and these are all short programs, right? These are quite short projects. So have you received the feedback on how accurate the translations with AI is?
We actually, it's a mix. I don't know, thank God, unfortunately, it can be done absolutely automatically. Actually, we mix and match AI tools. We process big text with the DeepL, and then our dedicated proofreader reads the script, aligns that all of the terms that were mentioned in the script, they the way they're mentioned in our actual user panel. So customers who learn through our courses don't get mistaken, and they can use those trainings accordingly. So it's super super fast, and it's an overall absolutely incredible experience, because I could never imagine that we can produce 3 courses in 2 or 3 languages in a year, even though we have this time to for a person on our team to proofread everything and to edit the video through Elai, but it still makes it much easier to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Truth be told, I was expecting an answer like this, because I'm not a believer of the thought that everything can be done with AI. Even in 5-10 years, there has to be a person behind the computer, behind the artificial intelligence, who navigates it and who helps. Because with translation, well, true. Actually, I've got a funny example to share. I've written a handbook for L&D starters, and I was translating some of the parts with AI. And well, instead of experience, translated as nutrition, which actually Ren noticed it yesterday because she was helping me to review the book. So, and these are some of the things that will occur as long as there is no expertise behind AI, human expertise in specifics. So we can just speed up the process, we can scale the process in many languages, but there still has to be us, right? So
yeah, that's how I like when there is like a long talk about whether or not AI will take our job. You just don't treat AI as your competitor. Treat it as your assistant who helps you do your tasks much better. I hope it will take a long time for AI to substitute all of us in our work, but treat it as your assistant who has no days off and don't get sick, don't need a vacation. Just enjoy what technology brings to you and how it helps you.
yeah, absolutely agree with each and every word. So a couple of more words. I know that you've got even some statistics regarding the NPS, right? So would you be able to share how did the customer?
Yeah. Just before joining this call, I checked with the numbers. We have overall with our AI experts, we have overall 6,000 students who enrolled into course with AI experts. And as Ren mentioned, most of the students, they enjoy it. We have NPS test in the beginning after the first module of each course with the AI expert, and we ask to give a number of how much you would recommend, how much you enjoyed the experience of teaching, studying with AI expert. And what was unexpected to me is that we have an average number of 8.2 out of 10, which is super high. We get some people who are saying, oh my God, it's a 3. But there are like a couple of those people who can see, and probably it's those people who watch directly into the face, into the eyes of an expert, and they can notice that it's not a living person. But overall, everyone else is used to this micro learning, or listening or studying, like doing main task and listening it on the background. So it doesn't matter. And for the voice, it's 100% correct and amazing. Just the picture sometimes, but I think that's what cannot be ideal or perfect, because that would get scary for sure if you could not like understand who is a living human and who is not. So I guess some mistakes there should be.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. There would be for sure some issues to get over, but in terms of like SendPulse example with the platform, I'm a huge fan of, by the way. But in terms of product training as well, sometimes you have to update the content. And sometimes this can happen once a month because, well, you release new features or something happens in the procedure and you need to update the content. What do you do if you record it with an expert, right?
Yeah, with an expert, it would take, we just write this course into backlog and wait for the better times to update the whole course, because you would not mix and match different settings, different experts. You just needs time to produce the course with a human expert. And with the AI, we just have this expert from Premium Avatars. We called her Amy. We have two experts, Amy and Cody, who are our almost in-house experts who do courses for us. So Amy can speak Portuguese, Ukrainian, English, Spanish, just the same as Cody, and they are ready to shoot the course any time of the day, and we are really thankful to them. So it helps us to add all of the updates rapidly, thanks to that. We don't need to plan in advance, like in a year, because it happened a lot before.
Yes, I can relate. So last but not the least, I've got a bit of a philosophical question for both of you. What advice would you give to other educational experts considering AI-generated video content?
I would say approach it as with understanding that not everyone will be comfortable looking at an AI avatar. So you could probably start, I would say, for example, 30% avatar, 70% voiceover with just the screen. And as your learners grow comfortable with it, you can like expand the use of avatar, make it bigger, or make it longer. But I would say ease it in slowly and until everybody gets comfortable.
Yeah, that's a brilliant one. Thank you. And Nastya?
I would add for all of the educational people, don't be afraid of testing new things. 2 years ago, we started using Elai, and it improved our work increasingly. And it wasn't very common back then, and we could not imagine creating courses right now without AI experts. For the current state of using AI experts, we created avatar of our in-house person who shoots YouTube videos, and we are testing a custom-made avatar for Reels production, for courses, for voiceovers with his custom voice. So I think that would be the next step of even social media and YouTube, and not only creating training programs. So don't be intimidated, try new things, and test, grow, and never stop learning, for sure.
Yeah, I love that we started with this and we are kind of concluding with the same. So thank you so much for joining on this special episode of EdTalks Spotlight. We hope that you found the discussion insightful and inspiring. Big thanks to our guests, Ren and Anastasiia, for sharing their experience and expertise in leveraging AI-generated videos with avatars in their educational and training programs. We hope that you are as excited as we are about the future of AI-powered video content creation. And if you have any questions or would like to learn more, please don't hesitate to reach out by the QR code here. And be sure to check our page on LinkedIn, Spotify, and YouTube for more episodes, and stay tuned for even more stories and strategies from industry leaders. Until the next time, bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.